Welcome, everyone. This is Success Story Wednesday, and we're so delighted, Jen and I, to have Christy Holt here to share a little bit about what she's been up to. So we're able to share a little bit of her story, the things that she does, and who she serves. And so we're so excited to have her here, and so she can bring a little bit of her own magic to this space. Oh, see, Jen's already giving you a heart, a sparkly heart. Anyways, it's so great to have you here, Christy. And I was just wondering if you would like just take a moment and share a little bit of like what you do, who you serve, and wherever that leads. It's all an open forum, and it's just a quick insight as to what you do. So take it away.
Amazing. Well, thank you. First of all, I just want to express some gratitude for your creating this space for people to share what they're about and the missions that they're on and the difference that they want to make in the world. And I'm going to start, I think, sharing a little bit about what I've been through, because that will give you a little bit of insight as to why I'm so passionate about what I'm so passionate about. And essentially, the story doesn't start here, but I'm going to pick it up here at this place where about a decade ago, I felt really stuck and I was in a marriage that was very unhappy. I didn't feel like I could express myself. I didn't feel seen or heard. I felt overwhelmed constantly. I would wake up anxious in the morning, like just overwhelmed and anxious before the day even began. And my relationship was really suffering. I didn't actually know, how to get myself out of it. I was sort of in this place where I lovingly refer to this time as when I was suffering from just a momitis, which was to say that I had really lost track of who I was. And I was so focused on being a mother to my three young sons at the time that I didn't know who Christy was anymore. What I did know for sure is that I couldn't go back to a time before I was a mother. That time had been long gone. And I also didn't see a big hope for the future because I was really feeling stuck in this relationship that was not ultimately serving me. And so I had this sort of aha moment, which was the catalyst and the key pivotal moment that things started to shift. And prior to this aha moment, I had spent a lot of time blaming, complaining, fault finding. I was waiting for my partner to change. I was venting to my friends on a regular basis. I was honestly doing everything in my power that I could to manage his emotions. I was trying to make him happy. I was trying to create a happy life for us as a family, for us as a couple. And I was finding myself quite resentful, quite bitter, and quite unhappy, despite all of these attempts to create this happy scenario. And when I had this aha moment, which was something like, holy shit, it's me. It's me. And I often joke, say, channeling Taylor Swift, hi, I'm the problem. It's me. I had this realization like, oh my gosh, I'm the one who's at the root. I'm the common denominator in every single last one of my so-called problems. And so now lately I've been sort of saying like, you don't actually have a relationship problem. It's actually an identity problem. This is from that aha moment. Like my problem wasn't the relationship. My problem was my identity and who I believed myself to be, just a mom, right? Someone who was responsible for keeping and making other people happy. And I lost track of who I truly was. And at the root of who I am love. But in that place and time, I had really lost track of that. And I was trying to earn my worth. I was trying to prove my value. I was trying to affect my external world in ways that were not really aligned or correct for me. They were strenuous and required so much effort, and they didn't actually get the results that I was looking for anyways. Now I've come to realize since that all of that efforting, all of that seeking, all of that trying didn't work because I wasn't looking in the right places. I was completely looking in the wrong places to find the love and the happiness and the peace and the joy that I was seeking. I was seeking outside of myself that which I could only actually find within. And so I began this sort of journey, and it was not it wasn't linear because humans, we're so fascinating. We're all over the place. And so am I. I'm a teach piano lessons. I used to be a professional accountant. I have had a lot of hats and labels and done a lot of different things. I started my quote unquote coaching career as a personal trainer and nutrition coach with a side of mindset, because that's always been rather important to me. I love personal development, learning and growth, and understanding things like neuroscience and quantum physics. Don't ask me to explain it all. I have a simplified perspective for you. There are better people to explain the nitty gritty details, but bringing that all together is what led me to want to help people to look in the right places, to find that which they're seeking, so that they no longer waste their time spinning their wheels on the treadmill of life, Groundhog Day, like trying to find the things in the wrong places. And ultimately, this allows them to create, the life, the relationships, the impact, the legacy that they want to create in their own life. It's really them stepping into their power and being empowered to create, rather than, as I was back in that time, just purely functioning in survival mode. And so that's why I'm really passionate about it, because I struggled and I've been there. And so I remember very, very familiar to me what it was like to feel so stuck. And ultimately, I'm on a mission to help people who are ready to get themselves unstuck so that they can start creating consciously the life that they want instead.
It's so amazing. It's amazing how that's so energy sucking, just trying to please other people and constantly looking outside of ourselves, not realizing that the gem is within. Really, that's what it comes down to. So I have a little bit. I wanted to ask you a little bit because I love this moniker. I think it's awesome. So you call yourself the happiness hussy. What does
Mhm.
that mean to you?
Well, essentially, well, okay, I'll give you a little tiny backstory, which I think MJ, you already know, but the other people listening won't know, is that this little title of mine came by accident entirely, and I claimed it wholly because I'm like, oh, this is exactly fitting for what I am on a mission to do. And it came from my cousin kind of teasing me because I am very positive and outgoing and inspiring on social media. And I was relaying to her that someone else had found me not so inspiring. And so she said something to the effect of, "Oh, you happiness hussy, you. How dare you be posting so much positivity on the internet?" And I was like, "Oh, hold up a minute, because yes, that I'm going to reclaim the word happiness for positive intent, because it totally fit my mission to spread happiness around the world, to direct people back to the true source of happiness, which is within, instead of allowing people to continue suffering and trying to get by in survival mode, chasing, seeking, people pleasing, and trying to keep up with perfectionist tendencies and all the things that I have wholly done myself. So, yeah, we've been there, been through it. And this is why I'm so passionate about sharing what's possible on the other side. And this morning, I replied to a comment. Someone had asked me, and this is a slight interchange, and she sort of said, like, oh, well, isn't, you know, offering this different perspective, this different way out of this potential of seeing things differently and doing things differently, aren't you judging them where they're at on their journey? And I thought that was really interesting, because I don't come at it from a space of judgment at all. People are welcome to be wherever they're at on their journey. I have no expectation even that someone is going to shift paths. However, I speak to those who are ready, those who are seeking an answer. They say, when, when the time is right, the teacher will appear. I speak for those who are ready, and I speak to them to show them what may be possible, to inspire, to empower, to show them a different opportunity. And if it's not for you, that's okay. I really don't judge people for being at their place on the journey. And I know when I was on mine, honestly, it took me a few slaps upside the head to see there were different possibilities than the limited perspectives I was seeing from where I was sitting. And in fact, it took one friend of mine saying something like, "Oh, you're never going to leave him anyway, so I don't even know why you're complaining," which admittedly a bit harsh.
Wow.
And it lit a fire under my ass, because I was like, well, well, like, that's not, I'm like, oh, it is true so far, but it doesn't have to remain true. And so I use that trigger that could have been a trigger, something that could have upset me. And I used it as an activation for me to step into my next level, for me to shift directions. And so when I speak, I'm not judging you for where you are. I've probably been someplace very similar to where you are. And I actually hold a lot of compassion and understanding for going through the struggle. And I've made it out the other side. And if I can show you what's possible for you and provide the potential pathway for you to experience what you actually desire to experience, I'm going to do that. So, on a mission to spread happiness across the world, happiness Hussy style, just really spreading it all over the place.
Like, it's like pixie dust, right? It's going
Yeah.
Oh, I don't think
Love.
of it because I don't even think of it as pixie dust. I think of it as fireworks because she's a little bit too Hussy like to be pixie dust.
Pixie dust. It has to be
Yeah.
fireworks. Okay, well, there you go.
Yeah, I see it as fireworks, like, and so I'm just like, yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Love it.
No,
Either way, it's magical. So
that's right. That's right. So where do you go from here? Or like, what are you working on now? I mean, I know you have a few projects.
yeah, I have my podcast, which has been super fun. And actually, this season on the podcast, I have been speaking about relationships, having gone from an unhappy relationship to essentially finding love within myself. And then creating what I like to say blissfully partnered, this incredible relationship that I have. We're coming up on 6 years together.
Wow.
It is absolutely magical. Neither of us are perfect people, but we are perfect for one another, meaning that we accept and love each other unconditionally, just as we are. And we are truly a team. And so I am really excited to share resources, ideas, practical action steps, or just things that I've taken from knowledge and turned into personal embodied wisdom with my audience on the podcast. So I talk about relationship related topics. I love to bust different myths and beliefs that we may have taken on that we might not even know where they came from. Love to just break that down and really deconstruct it and rebuild it into something that actually serves us, all while keeping the focus on the one person that you can actually change. And that's you. And so redirecting all those so-called relationship problems back towards your center of power, which is, talking about this identity piece. Who are you? What makes you you? And when you really have clarity on that, this gives you a lot more ability to communicate with the other person, to, express yourself fully, to show up exactly as you are, which opens the door to unconditional love and acceptance. And we all, I think, desire that. Well, I haven't met anyone who would say like, I definitely don't want that. But so often we hide ourselves away, and through things like people pleasing or perfectionist or just wearing masks or trying to keep up with the Joneses or whatever we're doing that's not authentically ourselves, we actually block the flow of this unconditional love and acceptance. We just cut it off at its knees. And so, ultimately it's about finding your way back to yourself so that you can create from this space of loving yourself first, essentially. In addition to the podcast, I am writing my next book, which will come as no surprise, is also related to the same topics as the podcast. Relationship is going to be called Love Unstuck. And spoiler alert, because again, it's going to bring you back to your power center, which is you. It's going to bring you back to the foundational relationship that changes them all, right? And that is the relationship that you have with yourself. And so that is coming later this year. I don't have a set date yet, but I am eagerly awaiting the time when I can let you all know the exact date and to get this really like exciting, fun, like you're having a conversation with your friend sort of read and take on relationships out into the world. And other than that, I just spreading a little joy, spreading a little love, spreading happiness wherever I can, connecting with incredible people, like-minded people, collaborating, because I truly believe that we are stronger together. I mean, we're all one. And so when we can come together and work together, that will just help, to move us further faster and, make a greater impact. So yeah, that's like, I guess that's the key. I could go on and on, but those are sort of the top things right now.
It's so awesome. And I'll share a little bit of personal note here. Christy and I have been we were introduced via the Love Your Vibe, the Miracle Magnet movement. So it was just I had the joy and the pleasure of getting to know Christy a bit better through that as we apprenticed together. And now I'm so excited to support her in her inaugural community for Love Your Vibe transformation. And we're just starting out, and it's just so wonderful so far, just meeting people that are really just ready to embrace their message and magic, right? Just really to bring that in. So it's an honor and a privilege to do that with Christy. So Christy, so if people wanted to reach out to you, we will also include it in the post itself, but where would they be able to find you?
Yeah, you can find all things Happiness Hussy related on my website at coachchristyholt.com. So you'll find the links for the podcast, all of my books. I have some amazing fun freebies like sweary meditations that are just an absolute blast to get you in the zone. I have resources for people pleasers, and I also have all of the information about all of the different courses, programs, and mentorship options that I have. And I just want to say, MJ, we're very blessed to have you as part of our community as well. I am so grateful that you wanted to join us and hold space, because your presence is just so beautiful and so calming. And I am so grateful to have you joining in our group as well. And yeah, we're all about ready to step into our miracle magnet era. So if anybody out there is ready to hop into that with us, definitely send us a message. We would be happy to, let you know what that involves or what other options there are for working, either on loving your vibe or on your relationship. Could be the same, right? Like everything as within, so without. So yeah.
So awesome, Christy. So thank you so much for sharing a little bit about what you're doing, and we celebrate you because you really are on an amazing mission. And I think, as you said, we're all one, and we're all moving towards, we pray, in the same direction, in supporting and making this world a better place for ourselves, of course, first, but rippling out into others. So that's just so awesome. So thank you so much for that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As Melanie Ann Lair says, for me, for you, for us, I love that way of looking at it, because it is everything that you do within impacts the people around you, impacts the greater good. And so even those small baby steps actually are like, the small things can be the big things. So just invitation to start small and start within. Sorry, Jen, I feel like you're about to say something.
Yeah, no, it's okay. I always say that, being a yoga teacher for many years, we used to always say, when you breathe, you not only breathe for yourself, but you breathe for the world.
Mm-hmm.
There's something so blissfully peaceful about that. Thank you for sharing that, Jen. It's
very me.
it is indeed very you. You're right. So that's so awesome. So just a little note to anybody that might be watching this and wants to connect with Christy or Jan or me. We're more than open to having a conversation with you for sure. And please reach out, because Jen, I would really like to have the opportunity to share what you're up to and what your mission and vision kind of is for what you're doing in the world. So just like Christy the Brave.
Yeah.
I mean, big permission slip to whoever's watching. You deserve to be celebrated. So allow yourself to be celebrated.
Exactly. Thank you so much, Christy.
Thank you, Christy.
Thank you so much.